What happens when one man's victory turns into another man's humiliation? In the rap world, success isn't just about money. It's about dominance, respect, and legacy. And right now, Kendrick Lamar is standing tall while Drake is left scrambling, with a jaw-dropping $100 million tour payday. Kendrick didn't just secure the bag, he shattered every illusion about Drake's so-called supremacy in hip-hop. The narrative has flipped overnight. Drake, once seen as untouchable, is suddenly being dragged by fans, critics, and even insiders who say his reign is collapsing under the weight of Kendrick's explosive rise. From stadium anthems to diss tracks that cut deep, Kendrick is proving he doesn't just rap, he rewrites history. This isn't just a victory, it's a demolition. And Drake's reputation may never recover. The rap game has always been built on competition, egos, and the hunger to prove who stands at the top. But rarely has there been a moment this seismic. A moment where one man's success doesn't just elevate him, it exposes the cracks in his rival's empire. That's exactly what's happening right now with Kendrick Lamar and Drake. On paper, both are titans, platinum-selling artists, global icons, cultural voices of their generation. But when Kendrick Lamar secured a jaw-dropping $100 million tour payday, it wasn't just another business deal. It was a declaration of war, a public statement that he has not only caught up to Drake, but in many ways surpassed him. And that revelation is shaking the entire foundation of hip-hop. For over a decade, Drake has built his career on the idea of dominance. He was the commercial juggernaut, the man who could drop an album and automatically claim the no one spot. His records broke streaming records. His brand deals made him a mogul. For years, his critics were brushed aside because the numbers didn't lie. Drake was bigger than anyone else, or so it seemed. But Kendrick Lamar has never played by Drake's rules. He never needed to. Kendrick's rise was rooted in artistry, integrity, and a reputation for being the rapper who says exactly what others are too afraid to say. While Drake mastered the charts, Kendrick mastered the culture. That's why this $100 million payday feels so different. It isn't just about the money, it's about the message behind it. Kendrick's tour isn't some generic cash grab, it's a movement. Every show he's performing is packed with meaning, each lyric dissected by fans and critics alike. People aren't just going to watch Kendrick perform, they're going to witness history. And with those kinds of stakes, Kendrick's success becomes more than financial. It's symbolic. Tells the world that hip-hop rewards authenticity and power just as much as it rewards mainstream appeal. Meanwhile, Drake is facing a dilemma he never anticipated. For the first time, fans are openly questioning his place in the rap hierarchy. His critics have always accused him of playing it safe, of relying on ghostwriters, of making music that was more about catchy hooks than meaningful bars. Normally, Drake could shrug off the hate because his commercial dominance was undeniable. But now, Kendrick is eating into that narrative. With one monumental victory, Kendrick has shifted the conversation. Suddenly, it's no longer about who sells more records. It's about who truly defines the rap game. And this is where the humiliation sets in for Drake. The $100 million figure is more than just a dollar amount. It's a reminder that he's no longer untouchable. Kendrick didn't just achieve that payday. He did it on his own terms, with his own style, without compromising who he is. For Drake, who has long been accused of chasing trends and switching sounds to stay relevant, that reality is painful. Because if Kendrick can dominate while staying true to himself, what does that say about Drake's legacy? Has his empire been built on sand? Fans online are making the comparison brutally clear. Social media is filled with comments, memes, and viral posts dragging Drake while celebrating Kendrick. This is what real rap looks like. One fan tweeted alongside footage of Kendrick's electrifying performances. Another went viral with a clip comparing Kendrick's crowd reactions to Drake's. The difference was staggering. While Kendrick's, fans were roaring every lyric word for word like scripture. Drake's crowd seemed far more subdued. as if the spark that once fueled his reign had dimmed. And then there's the elephant in the room, the ongoing feud. This $100 million moment didn't happen in isolation. Comes after a string of fiery diss tracks, subliminal shots, and one of the most publicized beefs in recent rap history. Kendrick and Drake's rivalry has turned into a generational clash. And Kendrick's tour payday feels like the exclamation point. It's one thing to win on wax, but when the money, the culture, and the fans all align behind you, the impact is undeniable. Kendrick isn't just winning battles, it's winning the war. But make no mistake, Drake isn't going to take this humiliation lying down. He's too invested, too proud, and too competitive to simply let Kendrick run away with the crown. That's why this moment feels so dangerous for him. Because in trying to reclaim his throne, Drake risks exposing just how fragile his image has become. Every move he makes now will be scrutinized. Every track, every business deal, every performance will be weighed against Kendrick's $100 million victory. If Drake stumbles even slightly, it could confirm the very thing his critics have been saying for years, that he's not built for this level of competition. And this is what makes Kendrick's triumph so devastating. It isn't just about money, it's about timing. By landing this payday in the middle of their feud, Kendrick has essentially forced the world to choose sides. And right now, the momentum is all his. Fans are rallying behind him, critics are praising him, and the industry is recognizing that he's not just part of the conversation, he is the conversation. For Drake, that's the ultimate ego blow. Because what good is a career full of #1 hits if, when history is written, you're remembered as the artist who got overshadowed by the man you tried to dismiss? As the dust settles on this $100 million announcement, one thing is clear. This isn't just another headline in the ongoing Kendrick versus Drake saga. It's a turning point. Kendrick Lamar has drawn a line in the sand, and for Drake, crossing it might be the biggest challenge of his career. The moment news of Kendrick Lamar's $100 million tour payday hit social media, the internet practically exploded. Fans, critics, journalists, and even fellow rappers couldn't stop dissecting what this meant for the balance of power in hip-hop. This wasn't just about numbers, it was about respect, dominance, and who truly deserved the title of the rap game's king. And at the center of it all, Kendrick Lamar stood tall, while Drake's reputation began to crack under the pressure. When Billboard confirmed the payout, hip-hop fans flooded X, formerly Twitter, with posts. One fan wrote, "Kendrick just lapped Drake in one move. $100 is generational. This is GOAT behavior." Another chimed in with even sharper words. "Drake been chasing validation through streams and gimmicks. Kendrick just proved artistry wins in the end. Game over." The hashtags told the story better than anything else. Hashtag Kendrick Dodge #100 million tour and hashtag Drake finished trended simultaneously. At one point, Kendrick's name was mentioned so many times online that his trending stats overtook some global political news. This wasn't just a payday, it was a cultural earthquake. At Complex immediately jumped in with their coverage. Kendrick Lamar earns $100 million from his world tour. It's the largest in hip-hop history. Drake's next move, that last line, wasn't accidental. Every outlet knew the narrative. They weren't just celebrating Kendrick, they were pointing directly at Drake, the man long considered his biggest rival, and waiting for his reaction. Academics, never one to stay silent in rap beef conversations, went live on Twitch to break it all down. His take: Drake's whole brand been built on being the biggest. The moment Kendrick got that $100 million bag, it's like his crown tilted. Like Drake might still have streams, but when it comes to respect, Kendrick just smoked him. Clips of Academics' rant went viral across TikTok and Instagram Reels. Fans also started pulling receipts. Old interviews resurfaced of Drake subtly taking shots at Kendrick, calling him one of those guys who just want to be lyrical miracle. Others pointed out how Drake once downplayed Kendrick's fan base during a press tour. suggesting Kendrick couldn't move the same kind of numbers. Now, the irony was brutal. Kendrick had not only moved the numbers, but had shattered the ceiling. Meanwhile, at Hip Hop DX posted a side-by-side comparison. Drake's biggest tour payout, $80 million with heavy sponsors. Kendrick Lamar's tour payout, $100 million. Independent majority. The caption read, "Different levels." Hashtag Kendrick Viz. Drake, this comparison stung for Drake. For years, his argument had always been commercial dominance. Drake had streams, hits, and radio presence. But now, Kendrick had matched hands, surpassed him financially, while maintaining his reputation as an uncompromising artist. The internet called it poetic justice. Drake's fans, of course, tried to fight back. The OVO army flooded timelines with hashtags, like hashtag Drake still the GOAT and hashtag more hits than Kendrick. They argued that Kendrick's catalog, while powerful, didn't have the same mainstream replay value as Drake's endless string of radio singles. But their attempts were drowned out by the overwhelming tide of Kendrick's supporters. One viral meme summed it up perfectly. It showed a photo of Kendrick standing calmly with the caption, "Made $100 million without gimmicks." Next to it was a photo of Drake wearing colorful merch with the caption, "Still making TikTok dances." The meme got over 1 million likes on Instagram in 24 hours. The deeper issue wasn't just money, it was ego. Drake had spent a decade branding himself as the unstoppable machine of hip-hop. His fans bought into the narrative that he was untouchable. But Kendrick's win exposed a crack. That artistry, authenticity, and timing could eclipse even the flashiest commercial dominance. Critics took it further. Rolling Stone published an op-ed titled "Kendrick's $100 Million Payday Proves Hip-Hop Rewards. Substance over Hype." The article dissected Drake's career, suggesting that while he remained relevant, his cultural credibility was fading in comparison to Kendrick. Even celebrities weighed in. LeBron James reposted Kendrick's tour clip with the caption, "Levels. At Kendrick Lamar, always been different." That single post sent shockwaves through fan circles. When someone like LeBron publicly co-signs the win, it elevates the narrative to a whole new level. And it wasn't just LeBron. At Seva, a longtime TDE affiliate, liked several posts celebrating Kendrick's win. At J. Cole fans started debating whether this shifted the entire Big Three conversation of Kendrick, Drake, and Cole. Suddenly, it wasn't about three equals. Anymore, it was about Kendrick standing miles ahead, with Drake scrambling to save face. The rivalry took on a life of its own on TikTok, where fans made edits of Kendrick's tour footage alongside clips of Drake's awkward interviews. One trending soundbite was Drake saying, "Numbers don't lie." The TikTok caption read, "You're right, Drake. $100 million doesn't lie." The audio was used in over 200,000 videos within days. Behind the scenes, insiders claim Drake wasn't happy. Reports surfaced from @DJ Booth that OVO insiders were scrambling to leak news of Drake's next big project to reclaim headlines. One insider supposedly said, "Drake hates being second. He'll drop something sooner than planned just to shift the narrative." True, this meant Kendrick had not only won financially, but had forced Drake into desperation mode, and fans noticed. Comments like, "Kendrick making chess moves while Drake playing checkers" flooded the replies under. At Hot New Hip Hop's posts, the phrase "rap game shaken" wasn't just a headline, it was reality. Every corner of hip-hop culture was buzzing about this. Was this the beginning of Drake's decline? Or was it simply another chapter in the endless battle of supremacy between two titans? Whatever the case, Kendrick Lamar's $100 million victory wasn't just a personal win. It was a statement, a declaration that artistry, patience, and substance could still rule the game. For fans, it was vindication. For Drake, it was humiliation. And for the industry, it was proof that the crown can never be permanently secured, must always be defended. The conversation around Kendrick Lamar's $100 million victory has reached a fever pitch. But what's even more shocking is how this win has become a direct assault on Drake's carefully crafted empire. For over a decade, Drake has built his reputation on being untouchable, the artist who can't lose, whether it's chart dominance, sold-out arenas, or cultural influence. Drake positioned himself as hip-hop's golden child. But with Kendrick Lamar's monumental payday, the narrative is starting to unravel. Fans, critics, and even industry insiders are openly questioning whether Drake's reign is officially over. On social media, the hashtags tell the story. Hashtag Kendrick wins, hashtag Drake exposed, and hashtag rap game shaken trended simultaneously as fans poured out raw emotions. One fan wrote, "At Kendrick Lamar didn't just win, he ended the illusion of Drake's dominance." Another added, "Drake built his empire off corporate deals. Kendrick built his off pure artistry. This is the difference." And here's where it gets messy. Multiple insiders have revealed that Drake's team has been scrambling to counter Kendrick's momentum. Apparently, they've been in emergency meetings with sponsors, investors, and tour managers to project strength in the face of this cultural shift. One insider told a hip-hop blog, "Drake can't stand looking weak. Kendrick's payday is a power move that hit him in the ego harder than any diss track." But the problem is, Drake's empire was always built on perception, the idea that he was the most commercially viable rapper alive. Now, Kendrick has shattered that illusion with cold, hard numbers. A $100 million tour payday isn't just bragging, right? It's proof that Kendrick's art-first approach commands just as much, if not more, financial power than even rap legends are weighing in. At Elliot Wilson tweeted, "This isn't about numbers alone. It's about respect." Kendrick is redefining what success looks like in hip-hop. Meanwhile, Joe Budden used his podcast to declare, "Drake's brand just took a massive hit. This ain't about who's hotter on TikTok. This is legacy talk." And fans are eating it up. On TikTok, thousands of edits have surfaced, juxtaposing Kendrick's quiet, humble demeanor with Drake's flashy lifestyle. Clips of Kendrick rapping on stage, drenched in sweat and pure passion, are being compared to Drake's videos flaunting jewelry and yachts. The message is clear. Kendrick is being portrayed as the authentic artist, while Drake is being cast as the manufactured product. One viral video used the hashtag #GameOverDrake, showing Kendrick walking on stage to a roaring crowd with the caption, "This is what respect looks like." But this isn't just about fan perception. The industry is watching too. Sources claim that high-profile festival organizers are now prioritizing Kendrick as the must-have headliner over Drake. Sponsorship offers that would have automatically gone to Drake in past years are now being redirected to Kendrick. This shift is crucial because it highlights a fundamental truth. Drake's reputation wasn't just built on music. It was built on access, partnerships, and deals that reinforced his dominance. Kendrick's victory is disrupting that entire system. Even major publications are catching on. Rolling Stone published an article titled, "Kendrick Lamar's $100 million. Tour Payday Redefines Hip-Hop Power." The piece directly called out Drake, noting that his grip on the culture appears to be slipping for the first time since 2010. And then there's the elephant in the room. The rivalry itself. Drake and Kendrick have thrown subliminal shots at each other for years. From Drake's sly comments in interviews to Kendrick's infamous control verse that called out the entire rap game. Their tension has been an open secret. But now, this $100 million moment has taken things to a whole new level. Industry insiders claim Drake has been furious behind the scenes. One anonymous source even said, "Drake's ego is fragile right now. He hates that people are calling Kendrick the true king of hip-hop. Don't be surprised if Drake responds musically, because his pride won't let this slide." And that's what fans are waiting for. Will Drake finally clap back with another diss track? Will he try to reclaim the narrative with a surprise album drop? Or will he attempt to ignore Kendrick's win and pretend it doesn't bother him? The problem is, ignoring it may not be an option. Social media is relentless, and the memes keep coming. One viral tweet said, "Drake got 100 features. Kendrick got $100 million." Another meme showed Drake holding up a Grammy with the caption, "Awards don't matter when your rival just made history." Even academics, who has often leaned toward Drake in past feuds, admitted, Kendrick is winning this one, no debate. $100 ain't something you can spin. But here's where things get truly fascinating. Kendrick isn't even bragging. Unlike Drake, who thrives on showing off his wealth and success, Kendrick has remained silent. No posts, no flashy statements, no celebration. He's letting the numbers speak for themselves. And that silence is making the victory sting even more for Drake. Because when you think about it, what's more damaging to an ego like Drake's? A diss track filled with insults? Or a rival who doesn't even acknowledge you yet still takes everything you value most? This quiet power move has elevated Kendrick's reputation in ways no album rollout ever could. He's not just seen as an artist anymore. He's seen as a cultural force, a disruptor. A man who can shake the entire rap game without saying a single word. Meanwhile, Drake is left scrambling to protect a reputation that suddenly feels vulnerable. For the first time in years, he isn't dictating the conversation. Kendrick Lamar is . And that shift is terrifying for someone who built their entire career on being at the center of the culture. As one fan summed it up perfectly on Twitter, @Kendrick Lamar destroyed Drake's ego without even trying. That's real power, real power. The rap game has always been a battlefield, a war zone where words are weapons and money is the ultimate scoreboard. But what Kendrick Lamar has achieved with his historic $100 million tour payday has gone beyond music. Beyond business, it has rewritten the rules of hip-hop dominance. This is no longer just a rivalry between two of rap's biggest names. This is a cultural shift, a power transfer, and one man's ability to dismantle another's empire with nothing but precision, patience, and poetic execution. For years, Drake was considered untouchable. His albums topped charts with ease, his features guaranteed streams, and his cultural dominance made him the face of modern rap. But here's the reality. Success built on hype eventually fades, while legacy built on artistry lasts forever. Kendrick Lamar's $100 million win isn't just money, it's validation. It's proof that the industry, the fans, and the culture have chosen him as the true king of rap. Look at the difference. Drake thrives on trends, always adjusting his sound to whatever's hot at the moment. Afro beats. One day, dance music. The next, drill the day after. He's a chameleon, yes, but at the cost of authenticity. Meanwhile, Kendrick doesn't chase trends, he creates moments. His work doesn't just top charts for a season. It gets studied, dissected, and celebrated for years. Songs like All Right and DNA have already cemented themselves as cultural anthems. His Pulitzer Prize win, it's unheard of in the genre. His diss tracks, sharp enough to scar Drake's reputation permanently. When the news of Kendrick's tour payday hit, even mainstream outlets that usually crown Drake as the king couldn't deny what was happening. Hashtags like #KendrickWins and #DrakeDone started trending. Fans flooded timelines with clips of Kendrick's tour selling out in minutes. Stadiums packed with people chanting every word to his songs. And on the flip side, memes started mocking Drake, painting him as the rapper who got dethroned by someone who didn't even need to play the mainstream game to win. And then came the silence from Drake himself. No tweets, no public reactions, no subliminal shots, just silence. For someone known to always clap back, his lack of response speaks volumes. Some insiders close to OVO claim Drake is furious behind closed doors, scrambling to figure out his Next move. Others say he's in denial, still believing his streaming dominance keeps him on top. But numbers don't lie, and right now, the only number that matters is Kendrick's. $100 million payday. Industry executives are quietly shifting their attention to. Brands, investors, and promoters are realizing that Kendrick Lamar is not just an artist, he's a global force. His tours bring in revenue that outshines even pop stars. His cultural impact makes him more than just a rapper. He's a voice of a generation. Meanwhile, Drake's business ventures, from his clothing line to his partnerships, suddenly feel overshadowed. The prestige that once came with being aligned with Drake has dimmed. While Kendrick's stock is skyrocketing, even other rappers are choosing sides. Some are congratulating Kendrick publicly, while others are distancing themselves from Drake, afraid to be caught supporting the losing team. The narrative has shifted from Drake versus Kendrick to Kendrick stands alone. And that's the most dangerous place for any competitor, to be alone at the top, unchallenged. The question now is, where does Drake go from here? Can he recover his reputation? Or is this the moment where his empire starts crumbling? Noticed his recent songs lack the same energy, the same hunger. Maybe it's the pressure of being dethroned. Maybe it's burnout from years of non-stop releases. Or maybe it's simply the fact that Kendrick Lamar has outplayed him at every turn. Kendrick, on the other hand, isn't slowing down. Sources say he's already planning another groundbreaking project, something even bigger than before. If this $100 million payday was just the beginning, imagine what's coming next. He's proven he can dominate without relying on industry gimmicks, fake hype, or forced collaborations. His strategy is pure, his moves are calculated, and his execution is flawless at this point. Fans aren't asking if Kendrick is better than Drake, they're asking if Drake even belongs in the same conversation anymore. That's the power of this $100 million victory. It's not just about money, it's about reputation and Drake's ego. Completely shattered, the rap game is watching. The fans are watching. And history is being rewritten before our very eyes. Kendrick Lamar's win isn't just a chapter in hip-hop. It's the beginning of a new era. So let's end with this. Drake built a kingdom on hits. Kendrick built an empire on legacy. And legacy will always outlast hits. #Kendrick Lamar. #Drake. #rap game shaken at Top Dog and at Champagne Papi. And there you have it. The rap game has been shaken to its very core. Kendrick Lamar just walked away with a $100 million victory. And in doing so, he didn't just secure the bag, he destroyed Drake's reputation in front of the entire world. Fans aren't just watching history. They're witnessing the shift of power in real time. From the streets to the stadiums, from the culture to the charts, this is the moment that proves Kendrick is more than just an artist. He's a movement. But what's next? Will Drake bounce back with a counterstrike? Or is this the final chapter of his dominance? One thing is clear. Hip-hop will never be the same after this. Stay tuned, because the war between Kendrick Lamar and Drake is far from over. And every new move could flip the entire game on its head. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment with whose side you're on, and share this video with every real hip-hop fan you know. The culture is speaking. Are you listening? #Kendrick Lamar. #Drake. #Hip-Hop War.